My name is Gary Schotten, and I'm here in a town called Branson, Missouri. I was spending a little quality time with my wife, and I wanted to record this in the midst of that time. As you might already know, we have many discussions with developing nations in what we call peer mentoring groups, and primarily at this point are in East Africa. And we try to answer questions when they have difficulties, and so this is a response to one of those questions. The subject is inflation. How do you deal with inflation? And the problem was presented that the American dollar is kind of affecting the rest of the world, and their Congo francs, I think they call them, are being affected, and the people are not willing or not excited about paying more money for the products that they're buying, and the shops, the Christian businesses, especially in the area of making soap, is hesitant to raise their prices. So let me try to take a shot at this for everybody listening. I'm going to have 4 key points, and I hope they're helpful to you. Well, first of all, you have to recognize that you have a calling to be in business, or you shouldn't be in business. And so if you're called to be in business and you're doing business, you've got to recognize that there's cycles and seasons in every single business. Inflation is a cycle and season. That's going to happen every so many years, or a change in the currency is going to happen, or there's going to be some kind of a disaster or some kind of situation present itself. And so this is an opportunity for you to watch your words to begin with. Now, these people were not being negative when they're talking, but I'm just cautioning you that as you have the cycle and season of business hit you, you're going to have to watch that you're not saying things like, wow, here it comes again. Oh, no, we're going to fail. Oh, this is horrible. How are we going to ever make it? Oh, boy, if we don't make it, we're going to all go bankrupt. Don't use those words. It's an opportunity to say, you know, with God's help, we're going to get through this. It's a cycle. We're going to get on the other side. We're going to be better off for it. You're going to have to know that these are things. Trouble is not always a bad thing. Trouble brings out the best in us. And so watch your words. Number 2, I've kind of covered that, but there is this such thing as a business cycle. There's natural cycles in the earth. Right now, it's a little chilly right now because we're in the coming up winter season. There's no snow on the ground, but there could be. And you know, the birds of the air and the animals, they didn't freak out of not having any business or any income or any product to eat in the middle of the winter because they recognize the cycles. And so there's a natural cycle, and we've got to recognize that that's a part of everything. And you know, there's something about the cycle of things. It has a way of clearing out people, businesses, things that are not supposed to be there. Just in that case itself, there's some businesses that have sprung up, and those people really are affecting you, and you shouldn't be competing with them because they're not knowing how to do good business. And it's going to give you a great time in this cycle and season to prove yourself to God, to prove God is alive, and allow Him to make up the difference. You know, we have sometimes what we call lip service to God. Now's the time we're past lip service. We're talking about really believing God for answers in this. So I'm not being short or cute when I say, let's just believe God. I'm going to give some tips now. Now, let's talk about just doing better business. That's number 3. There's a lot of things we got to do better on. In fact, in my business, we're always talking continually improvement. And in your case, do you really understand your accounting and your financial statements? Do you understand that the income minus the expenses is your profit and loss? Are you doing good books? Do you understand the concept of job costing? That's where you take a particular product that you're making, like a cake or a pie, or you're a tailor making coats or clothes, that you're costing each part, and you're making sure that you're making a fair profit based on the kind of amount of materials you're putting in and the amount of labor. That's called job costing. And are you learning to be able to be a salesperson? Are you going to be able to tell people what's unique about your particular product or service? You see, people don't just come up to you and buy based on the product all the time. You're going to have to become a better salesperson. And that leads us right into point number 4, not becoming just an order taker. I've been fortunate to have traveled to many parts of the world, and especially in the developing nations. And one thing I've observed is it seems that people just think they can just open up a business and just buy some goods and start reselling them. Well, it's more to it than that. You're going to have to become, in many cases, a very, very good salesperson. You know, you could be what I call an order taker, and this is what I watch. I think I see lines of people selling vegetables, and they're just standing there, and all the tomatoes are the same, and all the potatoes are the same, and you're there just taking an order. Well, first of all, what makes you different? Why are you there? And you can't just take an order. It's so amazing that even in these countries, it seems that some people are almost interrupted to take the order. Well, you need to take on some skills that others don't have. Those skills are maybe telling your story, telling how and why you're in business, telling about your product in detail, telling why your product's better. Let's take the soap, okay? That's the product that we're talking about in East Africa. Well, there's other people that put added water to their soap, and it's not as good as soap. So you're going to have to demonstrate and show and be a salesperson and make sure that they know how that you can be distinguished from the other soap suppliers. You know, that's part of the business ownership. That's part of the selling that's going to be critical to make your product stand out different. You know, there's the issues of trust. You know, when you come to a customer and the customer comes to you, why wouldn't you ask their name? Why wouldn't you ask them what's important to them? Ask them some questions, not just put out your product to push it in their face, but ask them what they're looking for. And be honest with them. If what you have isn't what they're looking for, you must tell them, I don't have that. And maybe even point them to where they can get that. But they'll gain some trust in you, some trust in the integrity that you have to be above board in what you're doing. And that trust will go a long ways. People do business with people they trust. And they don't necessarily pay double, pay way extra, but in reality, they'll come around other people and come to you when they trust you. I saw that at a friend of ours had an air conditioning part supply, and a man walked in. And after he left, my friend said, well, that had the business, it was in Kampala, Uganda, and his name was Stephen. And the owner of the shop said, well, that guy came back. This man, his customer, came back to Stephen's shop, walking by a bunch of other customers, other vendors, and came in and bought a little fan and some other things. And by the way, Stephen did a pretty good job because he upselled. While he was there, he suggested, well, you know, maybe you need some tape to go with this. Maybe you need some extra things. And the man was appreciative. He actually said, well, you know, I want these, set them aside. He went away, came back, and bought some more stuff. And after he left, it was real interesting that Stephen actually gave him a discount. Now, I'm not always recommending that, but he gave him a discount if he bought some more. There's nothing wrong with that. Be a good salesperson. Be a good business person. This is not just taking orders. Well, one thing you're probably going to have to do, though, is prices go up. One of the most important things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to be sure that you are raising prices at the right level, that you don't totally scare away with your customer, but if you don't do that, you're going to end up broke. And that's what catches the people down the street. They don't know their prices, they don't know their numbers, they don't know what a fair price ought to be, and after a while, they're out of business because they didn't increase their price. I'm having to do that now with my customers. I've had some tariff issues that hurt us. And I hurt us. I have to raise my prices. I have to tell my customer, this is what I have to do to stay in business. Well, I hope you learned from this. I hope it's a help to you. Inflation, yeah, that's what we try to cover here, but it's a bigger issue than inflation. It's an issue of really understanding how business works and how you can excel and succeed in the business world in any part of the cycle. Thanks for being a part of IBB Talks, Inspiring Better Business. Share these with others. Help us be a part of spreading the word on this, and we hope to be of help to you. Thank you.